I don't know. I just think it would be a lot better if people were a little bit more informed and actually took a little bit more interest.
Well, I mean, for to get informed, you actually have to take the effort. Like you won't get it. You won't get it from the news you find on TV.
Exactly. So,
For
what's
sure.
the best news source nowadays?
I mean, in my opinion, I think the absolute best global source of news is Al Jazeera.
Think so?
They have that in Nicaragua. That's kind of it's a good one.
Yeah, Al Jazeera, like it's as unbiased as you can possibly get. I mean, Al Jazeera is based out of Qatar, which in itself has its own like problems. But aside from coverage, they don't cover issues like Qatari issues. They cover everything else that goes on globally. So, and they do it pretty independently, and they do a really good job of calling the U.S. out on a lot of their shit.
Have you guys
Finally.
listened to Broken News Daily?
No, I don't know what that
A,
is.
ri- a ridiculous take on the ridiculous.
Never heard of it.
It's damn it. You guys clearly don't read Yahoo articles.
No, man. When I work, when I'm at work, I try to do work sometimes at least instead of read Yahoo articles.
Yo, I definitely stopped reading Yahoo articles because of that. Like, yo, when it gets to the point that Yahoo article breaks off like stupid little things here and there, like stories that are irrelevant, it's kind of like, all right, I really don't feel like read this anymore.
But Ed, you've never seen Broken News Daily?
No.
Damn. You guys you have some
No.
really good stuff on there.
When they report about the 10 best baklava in the United States, dog, like who really cares about that? Like, I'm not trying to drive somewhere to try some baklava, dog. Like,
Actually,
that's not
I look,
something that's
I look for those travel articles because when I'm in specific cities, I would like to taste the best of the city. So if they are known for their baklava, then I would like to know
That's
that.
what he's eating.
That's
right. But that's
what I'm
that
known
right, and that's so in essence they're appealing to you, but they're not appealing to me. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and read
so,
that.
so you're calling me fat, is what you're saying?
Yo, you take it how you want to take it. Don't just
Whoa,
saying.
let's not get into all that craziness.
Oh man. Oh, Berto, before you got on, like before we even started recording, we were talking about um Operation Dirty Trick, which sounds sort of ridiculous, which is why I wanted to say it. But have you ever heard of that before, by any chance?
No, I haven't. What is it?
It's like like a real thing that happened back when the John Glenn first went into when they shot him into space.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, "Yo, if this works, then this whole situation is a win-win. If it works, then we got the first person into space. If it didn't work, then we're gonna blame it on the Cubans and go to war with Cuba." Imagine what
Damn.
imagine what Miami would have been like if that would have happened.
It would have been non-existent.
Yeah, that's
would've-
crazy.
It would have been like a normal city, right?
But wait, it didn't work because he wasn't the first guy in space, and we didn't go to war with Cuba.
Wasn't it like a Russian that went into space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did something that was different than everybody else. I don't remember.
And they had that chimpanzee too, man.
No.
I
Okay.
think he was riding on a Segway.
No, but he did. He was the first at something. I don't remember. I was looking it up earlier. Imagine if they would have blown his ass up and then fought Cuba.
That would have sucked, dog. I love croquetas. Where would we be at today?
Like, you were just in Hialeah all day. That would have never happened.
I know, dog. Can you imagine? Where would my job be at?
Wait, Victor, didn't you put the article about those plans that the United States had to like fake attacks against the U.S. and blow up stuff in Guantanamo Bay?
This Global Post one that I sent. Yeah, that it's sort of along the same lines. Hold on, I'll send you guys the link again. It's basically just like information about how they said they wanted to fuck up our own shit and then blame it on other people. Just use it as like a reasoning. Cause like Pearl Harbor, everybody
To
knew.
instigate.
Yeah, everybody knew Pearl Harbor was gonna happen, and they were like, "Fuck it, we'll get
I
into
mean-
World War II with this."
When you think about it, there was ample evidence for someone to
9/11. They
Yeah.
had evidence since like March. They had been warning it.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Even the
whole
guy,
concept.
the guy ended up quitting because he was like, "Listen, when this shit goes down, I don't want to be." I think it was like the director of the CIA or some shit. He's like, "When this attack happens, and it's gonna happen, If not in April and May, it's coming. He's like, I don't want to be in charge of this if you guys aren't gonna, take like command on this situation.
Exactly. That's the whole point. Like, crazy shit happens sometimes, and then remember what happened right after that? Everyone was like, you know what? Let's do whatever it takes. Like, go for it. Things were coming up left and right. We weren't even reading what was going down. And then now, after a whole bunch of time passes, people have like extra time to look at all the laws and the bills that were passed. We're like, damn, we got bamboozled.
Yep.
Like Patriot Act, all that shit. And now, did you guys heard about the NDAA Act?
No.
It basically lets the government do whatever it wants, and then you can't do anything about it. So they could get you on the street, arrest you, put you in jail. You'll never talk to a lawyer. They'll never tell you what the hell's up, and they could just leave you in a hole to rot in the event that you're like being a pain in the ass to them.
Oh, but that's not new. That's
But now it's like
it's
hard body, and they could do
legalized,
it ever since.
Yeah, it's legalized the ability
Government
for
state.
the military to detain you indefinitely without charge for however long.
Yeah,
with however long until they can get the proof to prove you guilty.
No,
that's
no,
not
no,
that's
no,
not new,
no.
bro. That happens.
They don't have to prove
from
you're
time to
guilty.
time, dog.
In
that
Venezuela.
happened.
Yeah, I was about to say not here, and it's not until they prove that you're guilty. It's until the end of your life, or they change their mind about you.
Yeah.
So they can see you today and be like, we decided we want people only 5'7" and above. Bam, put you in jail until you grow, and if you don't, then it's over.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like from a historical point, that's not new.
Here it is.
No, it's not, bro. Because whenever World War II happened, they detained anybody that looked Asian, dog.
That's not.
That's
different.
And put them in things and put them in things that were similar to.
I know where
But
you're
we're
going.
talking about like in the 21st century, like where you have the right to due process, you have the right to be told what you're being detained for,
and face your accused and all that crap. And the thing is, that was pure racism. They don't even care now. They're like, no, we're gonna be fucked up to everyone equally. Like it's to everybody. No one stands a chance that they feel like doing it against you. That's the whole point.
The reason why that's dangerous is it could be used as a political tool to get political prisoners. So, like for example, like let's say something happens where a lot of people start protesting. Like say Martin Luther King. And there's a Martin Luther King in this day and age, and he's really upsetting the government to the point where they could say, he's a security threat to our country, so we're gonna arrest him and hold him until we see fit.
That's basically what happened to Nelson Mandela.
Exactly.
And then they kept him in jail for how long was it?
It was 28 years, I think.
A billion years, yeah. Like it doesn't take anything, and that's a step in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and in talking about what you were saying about people attacking us and using that as a ploy to go to war, I saw a video. I just posted it. I just sent it to y'all of a think tank. The think tank for AIPAC. They run this think tank, and the guy was saying if we want to go to war, we have to fake an attack on the U.S. And, he's suggesting that the U.S. starts an attack, and he talks about Pearl Harbor. He talks about all the World War II and how we started it and things like that.
The Gulf of Tonkin was another fake one.
Yeah, so
it got us into Vietnam.
It's something to consider. If Romney wins.
Yo, are one of you guys sitting outside?
Nope.
No, but I definitely hear it.
Yeah, I hear mad wind. That's why I'm asking.
It's coming from Birdos.
Damn, called you out.
No, because it's highlighting around your screen whenever the blowing sound comes.
I just breathe heavily.
Apparently, that's what it is.
Breathe heavy, my friend.
No, I have a fan on, but
that's probably what it is.
It's not like hurricane force winds.
No, you could just hear the wind. That's why.
So on a completely unrelated thing, how many of you guys want to see Wreck-It Ralph?
Yo, I'm trying to see that.
Thank you. I thought I was the only one.
Nah, son, I'm excited for that.
I'm mad that we were able to just switch from getting politically arrested to Wreck-It Ralph.
Yo, because think about it, man. Zangief is in that shit.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with politics. The bad guy's trying to be good, and they're not letting him. They're just forcing him to be bad again.
What bad guy's trying to be good here?
Politics, man.
Yo, that's Luna's fallback. No, it's politics.
I was about to say, talk about circular reasoning. It's like politics is trying to be bad, but bad is trying to be politics. So obviously, bad politics.
So I endorse this message. You Wreck-It Ralph.
You're a fool, bro.
So is anybody looking forward to the real debates going back on tomorrow? Because last week was like the Special Olympics, like the
Yo, actually, I think last week's debate was better than the one before.
It definitely was.
It might have been better, but the vice presidential. I feel like presidential debates altogether are kind of useless, but the vice presidential debate, it's like really pointless. Like who cares?
They're playing with like paintballs, and the presidents are playing with bullets.
Yeah,
like, I mean, it really doesn't matter either way. People say that they're only trying to get like the real base of people who already are supporting one side or the other. Like they don't do much recruiting in those debates, but the presidential one does get one from the other side.
Going back to like party politics and third parties, like that's the people who run the debates, the coalition of presidential debates or something like that, Council on Presidential Debates. It's an organization run by both Republicans and Democrats, meant to shut out anybody else who would bring like a reasonable topic.
So it's basically impossible to ever have somebody else who's not Democratic or Republican in there. Right?
Pretty much. Like you have all these people who are eligible to they're on enough ballots to be able to win the presidency, but it's like you were saying, circular reasoning. They say to get in the presidential debate, you have to poll at 15%. But to poll at 15%, you have to be able to be on the presidential debate because nobody else is going to see you.
Damn, you gotta love back doors.
Yeah, so I mean, it's useless because like it's a debate where both parties agree on what they're going to talk about, and they're both there to make themselves look good and not say anything that'll have them on a hot seat. So I mean, it's useless, really.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna watch it though. I watched the first one. It was meh.
I'll watch it, but I don't watch it to base my opinion because, they really haven't said shit. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it feels like it's more like recently, the last couple of elections, been more about dissing the other person than it is about actually stating what you're going to do. Like
I think that's because people are usually dumb enough to take they take it into such high consideration.
Yeah, but it's kind of like
especially when they're allowed to say whatever they want, even if they know it's a lie, they're allowed to say it because it doesn't matter. Like they can just be like, "Oh, I didn't know that," but that's bullshit. They know when they're lying. So unless people are paying attention and they're fact checking and all that crap, which most people don't do, then they'll hear something and be like, "Oh man, I can't believe it," and then you find out later that it was complete bullshit, and it's just dramatic effect.
I'll have you know, Yahoo. The following day has fact checks on what's been said.
Good thing that you're obsessed with Yahoo, but I'm just saying.
Luda, you trying to get a job with Yahoo, dog?
I'm just putting it out there, man. It's a good source of.
Does anybody pregame for the presidential debates?
They should.
They have that presidential debate game.
I know they do. But like, are you down a tailgate for the next one?
It's tomorrow.
You could definitely make a drinking game out of it, though.
There is a drinking game.
There is a drinking game out of it, but you don't drink, man.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, you could definitely make a drinking game out of it.
Anyway,
there's already one made.
We cut Pablo off like 6 times.
No, I was saying, like, for people who actually take the debate seriously, I think you have to, because, like, with Victor last time on Twitter, you were like, "Oh, how's your secondary debate going?"
Yeah.
Like, I think if you want to hear like real talk on a debate, you have to watch those. Like they're gonna have, for example, on tomorrow they're gonna have the debate between the guy I was talking about, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian, and Jill Stein, the Green Party lady. So
that'd probably be more interesting than the real one.
When is that? What time is it?
It's October 18th. Is that tomorrow?
No, that's a couple days.
Okay, yeah, it's October 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
The biggest
where do they air it though?
It's on YouTube.
This is exactly where I was coming from, Luna. I was
talking
about
legit.
I was talking to my mom about this. The biggest downside is they can't get these people to be on TV. So people who are older than us, like just a few years older than us, that are out of the pretty much the internet loop, aren't gonna find it. They don't know how to navigate YouTube to.
So the ones that actually vote, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, somebody's echoing.
Yeah, who is it?
Someone has their speakers loud.
China, did you fall asleep?
No, I'm watching something.
But he's taking it all in.
That was really disturbing, China.
We all know he's watching.
Something that laugh.
It's called
Alexis, Texas.
It's called football.
No, yeah. So the fact that they're on YouTube, a lot of people aren't going to be able to watch them. But I'm probably going to try to watch it.
I could barely watch shit on YouTube, man.
Exactly. You don't even know how to turn on your computer. You don't even have a computer. That's exactly my point. Anybody older than you can't figure it out. But I don't even know who I'm gonna vote for, to be honest. A lot of people I know, they say like, "Oh, I'm just gonna vote for one or two because it's a waste if I go any other direction and blah blah blah." But
That's kind of how I feel, but at the same time, it's like if everybody feels that way, then it's kind of like that's why it happens.
Yeah, exactly. That is what happens because everyone says the same thing. Eventually, it's gonna mean something if enough people.
Hold on, Pablo. These are the debates, the secondary debates.
Yeah.
The ones you're posting.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we're onto something with this whole 5%, 20 million thing, though.
You work on it. You'll be.
So do you guys want to on the next episode? Do you guys want to have like an election to see which one of us is going to be the candidate? Because if we all vote for each other, that kind of defeats the purpose. Because I know I'm going to vote for myself.
Well, seeing as how barely any of us, except for Pablo, know what's actually going on, I nominate Pablo.
I told him I asked him when he was going to be my representative
you're from
in Florida.
You're from Venezuela, dog. Venezuelans, can they even vote? Like, does their vote even count?
No, you're from Peru. What are you talking about?
No, we're not communists.
We all know.
Neither are we. I'm not.
Oh man, good luck.
That's why you can't have anything nice, Edwin. You let another guy win for what is it? 6 years over there when you win?
Yes, it's 6-year terms.
Damn, got their ass.
Hell yeah.
He changed it.
Did you go vote? Did you go exercise your right to vote as a Venezuelan person?
Nope, not allowed to.
He's in political asylum.
Shh, we can't say that, man.
No, he's not, yo. He can go back.
Not allowed to, dog. How much I actually had text my mom. I was like, "Mom, am I allowed to vote in this?" She's like, "No, you dumbass."
Like, are you dumb?
Like, well, if you don't know you can vote, you're probably
left?
not registered to.
Oh my lord! Wait, what were we saying before this Venezuelan thing?
Wreck-It Ralph.
Not that before.
Curiosity.
That's even. You're going backwards.
Whatever. I said before.
I said not that before.
Yahoo article.
Nah. Whatever. You guys are retarded.
No, we were talking about. Oh damn, Antonio Gates did the ill cut.
Yeah.
Oh, the things online. I want to watch the next ones. I want to see what it's about. Honestly, if it makes sense, I might change. I actually haven't made up my mind yet. Do you guys think it's worth it to not vote if you just don't care?
I think that's the biggest possible crime you can commit to yourself and your country.
Really?
Yeah.
What about selling your vote?
Not voting is like saying I don't give a fuck who wins.
Because it's basically the whole concept that everyone always says, oh, if you don't vote and then somebody else wins, you never have the right to complain about what happened, all that stuff.
I don't think it's that. It's more the fact first of all, there's people that have died for your right to do that. So, I mean, just off of that principle, it's wrong. But, if you really do have a problem with the way our government and our country is set up, not voting is not the answer.
Solution?
I think voting against the major parties is the way to do it.
Hey, Pablo, so would you agree with what Australia does, that they force their citizens to vote, and if they don't vote, they get fined and put in jail and stuff?
I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about that because at the same time, there's a lot of uneducated people, for lack of a better term, in our country, to where, like, a lot of people, like, you have people voting for Mitt Romney because he's handsome, or people voting for Barack.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
He watched the video. Pablo watched the video.
I've actually heard like girls say that, like, "Oh, I'm gonna vote for Romney." It's like, yo, like.
Ed, you didn't see the video I sent? It's literally a girl saying, "Oh, the first reason I want to vote for Mitt Romney is because I think he's so cute." Yeah, she's like,
my cat.
Yeah, she's like, I've been waiting for 4 years to vote for him because he's so cute, and my cat is named Mittens too. And she was like, serious.
So I mean, there's a lot of really not smart people around. So like, I feel like that. I think instead of forcing people to vote, I think we should, I guess,
litmus test,
have more education on like the electoral process. Like, people really don't know what voting is. Like, if you think about school, the only thing you learned about your government was in your civics class, and that was nothing.
Right.
And that's what,
maybe uneducated people just shouldn't be allowed to register to vote.
We shouldn't tell them the right place.
I think that's how you get into this whole.
I agree with that.
That's going on now.
Yeah, I agree with that to a certain extent, but then again, like, a lot of people who are uneducated, it's not their fault that they're uneducated.
Yeah.
Well, why don't they do it? Why don't they do it like they have, say, for example, the unemployment here in Florida? For you to collect unemployment, you got to pass a test.
Because again,
that's.
Think about it this way: during the civil rights era, they did that. Like, okay,
the Jim Crow laws.
Black people want to get the right to vote. Well, they have to pass this test. A lot of those people didn't even know how to read because the government didn't
let them.
So, like,
if you can't read, you shouldn't be voting anyway.
Well, I mean, but at the same time, think about it. In Florida, the people who perform worst in any kind of educational standards are Black people and Latinos. So,
well, you know what? That's a crutch, because those same people could recite the whole lyrics to 2 Chainz.
Well, I mean, but
that's that. Then you get into a different argument with that, because that's learning something. It's easier to learn something that's in a sing-song term that's repeated in your head over and over than to sit down and read a book and try to memorize what it says, especially if you have no interest in. So that's not really a good argument.
Like, again, and the other thing is, like, like, we shouldn't let convicted felons vote, but who is the majority of convicted felons?
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, when you start going into that territory, it starts becoming a race issue, because the majority of people who are educated are people who aren't minorities.
Yeah.
So if it's like, you got to pass this test, which, I mean,
but if the majority of the people committing crimes weren't minorities, then they wouldn't be in jail, and then they'd be able to vote.
But why do they commit the crimes? Because they live in such poverty that like, for example, in schools, like, the people who get suspended are majority minorities. Why? Because schools treat Black and Hispanic kids at a different standard than they would a white kid who gets in trouble for the same thing. So where the school will call in the cop because some kid a Black kid had a tantrum in his class, they would just call the white kid's parents and send him home, where the kid goes to jail. So it creates kind of a divergent path for people of color, whereas everyone else is held to a different standard. So, I mean, you can think about it like, yeah, we commit the most crimes, so it's our fault, but it's really not. It's actually the system that we're placed in.
It's kind of, I do remember, I learned something about that in sociology class.
Product of our environment.
Yeah, and it's exactly true. Like, I used to work with kids in the worst neighborhood in Orlando, and it's exactly that. These kids, they get sent to this program because they get suspended from school, and it's because for the smallest things, because the teachers, they're scared of them. Teachers are scared. They see a 17-year-old Black kid that's bigger than them, little white lady, and she's like, you know what, I'm not even going to deal with this.
Well, that's why we came to a conclusion that's why they created the NFL.
Actually, Zala did come to that conclusion.
Checks and balance.
And they needed some outlet to take out their ability, and that they would get recognition for it, because they were bred to be people like that. That sounds so fucked up, but it's so true. Like, back in the day, their ancestors were put together to make the biggest, strongest people, and now that they're bigger and stronger than everybody else, they need to put them in the right path, so they put them in sports before they get fucked.
at the beginning of the NFL, they weren't even participate.
Yeah, that's very true too.
Yeah, but it's a lot better since they started participating.
The NBA used to be whites only. The MLB used to be whites only. The NFL used to be whites only. So I mean,
yeah, but just to be devil's advocate and support Zalo's idea because he's not here. That's why they all got their own leagues at first, because that was the whole concept behind it. Because they didn't think that they could compete in between each other.
I don't know, but
the way Zalo puts it's very promising.
He came out of that one day from nowhere, and it sort of made sense. It was really weird. Like, you'd have to hear him say it.
No, it's because you come out of the league one of two ways. Either you're old and therefore you're not as threatening or dangerous to society,
or you're broken,
injured.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, that's sort of where he went with it.
Well, and also, like, think about it this way. Like, I think it does more to hurt Black and Hispanic people than it does to help. Because, you have every single kid who's in school who's like, I don't care about school. I want to be a football player. I don't care about school. I want to be a basketball player. I don't care about school. I want to be a rapper. That's the only way they see that they could succeed. And those are, like, the likelihood either of those things happening are pretty much impossible.
Actually, I was at the ballpark once, and I was on a tour with some people, and this lady, she was like an older Black lady, and she had her grandson with her, and he was just talking, like, he could care less about the baseball thing, and she was like, you need to pay attention to this baseball because it's so much safer. And then he was like, yeah, whatever. Like, he was 15, just walked away from her, and she's like, the society always makes young Black kids think that they're only good at football and basketball, and those are the sports that are going to get them the most injured at the youngest age, and all this stuff. And it's like, it's true, but nobody really thinks about it.
Yeah, and it completely, like, I'm telling you, like, these kids that I dealt with, it's like across the board. Yeah, like, I'm good at basketball. I'm gonna be playing for the Magic in 4 years. Watch me. When at the same time he couldn't even read.
And also,
and they keep writing Victor, raper instead of rapper.
Also, to add, yes, though the kid wanted to play football and basketball because that's what he's fed.
It's basically it's basically what's in his high school and what they're like. Oh, right, you're not going to be good at baseball. Don't bother. You're going to be good at football because he was big.
It's more like you're not going to be good at math. So
right, but even to go a step further, grandma, whoever the lady was with him, is like, well, think of this third sport as an option. She's not thinking, man, maybe you could be an engineer. Yeah. Grandma had high hopes and was like, man, maybe you could be a baseball player.
I was actually thinking that exact thing. I was like, at least you thought something a little bit outside the box, but not far enough that you were actually like, how about you graduate?
Yeah, that's still a problem.
She was just like, go into this other sport where there's a lot of up and coming Black stars.
What about hockey?
Hey guys, I don't even think it's literally family members. Or like you were kind of touching on a little bit earlier. It's definitely more so society. Before I even, like, as y'all know, I went to military school. But before I went to military school, I was involved in sports beyond sports. But I was lucky enough for, my mother to remarry, and my stepfather was a highly successful man, and he was never into sports or anything like that. Everything with him involved education, and education obviously would, to everybody, all my friends know, was not my top forte. You know what I mean? Like, I can go to school, I can, get the grades I need to get. I was more into sports and stuff like that, and living in the area that I grew up in, playing sports was like the main thing to do. So everybody played soccer, everybody played baseball, everybody played football, everybody played basketball. Everybody played at least 2 or 3 sports from the little leagues all the way through high school. And so you get into high school and it's just like, what do you want to do? You're like, oh, I'm going to play sports. I play basketball and I play football. And my main focus was, okay, getting good enough grades just to be able to play sports in college and then go into the pros. And even when I went to military school, I still had that same mindset until towards my last few years, when I actually grew as a person and, had my mind expanded by just the environment that I was in, that I said, wait, school is that much more important, and that's what it's really all about. So it's all about, the people that you keep around you, not necessarily the people that you're constantly in contact with, but the people that are just there. Those people can also change your mindset, whether it be bad or good. So I think that it's very important that the parents, the people the closest, even like siblings and people involved in churches or in groups that are outside of school, stay heavily involved in a lot of these kids' lives, especially in the minority, to let them know that uh, it's not all about sports, that there are other alternatives to succeeding in life, um, like education and becoming an engineer or anything but sports. Sports is secondary. It always will be secondary. And you can ask any person that plays a pro sport now, and they will say the same thing to you. If they would tell their kids and anybody else, sports should be something secondary, and education will always be the first thing you should be focusing on. But kids just don't see it because of the environments they're in, you know?
Yeah, and again, that goes back to it hurting people of color more than it helps, because like you said, Gonzalo's theory was like it was used as a way to make up for disenfranchisement. I think it does more to disenfranchise people in more ways than a lot of other things, because it feeds them that false hope. Like, yeah, like, I'm gonna be straight. Like, I don't need to study because I'm gonna play football. Like,
Right.
Forget everything else.
Right, and I think that a lot of kids feed into the fact that they see this and that, this athlete on TV and that athlete on TV doing all these great things and being involved in these things, and they look at it like, oh, I could do this, and nobody's sitting back. Everybody's all like, oh yeah, you can be the best ever, you can be the best ever, and nobody's being realistic, saying, hey, like I said before, your main priority is to get your education, to learn everything you can possibly learn and do the best you can do in your life. Being an athlete is very, very tough. I was an excellent athlete in high school. Probably one of the best players on my football team. I had the opportunity to play at a university. But I'm not gonna brag, because if I was bragging, I'd be in the NFL. You feel me? But you know, not everybody gets that far. Not everybody has that opportunity. There are very few people that have that opportunity that play sports. How many teams do you have in college football in the upper divisions? And how many teams do you have just in the NFL? Same thing in basketball and baseball and all those other sports. There are very few people that have that opportunity to take those things to the next level. So for someone to stay focused on that and that only, that like Pablo said, that's doing themselves a disservice. So I think that people, even from school district, starting when they're young, they need to give them the mindset that that is not the most important thing, to be focused on. Your education, being involved in the community, outside of sports, is the most important thing, because you'll grow as a person. You'll be more educated. You'll be able to get into more fields, not even necessarily by what you can do, but by what you know. So, I don't know.
Now you just dropped some knowledge, China. That was personal experience for all of us. We're living vicariously through your sports life.
China the preacher, son.
Oh, China, did you still want to go on your fake people / bandwagon?
Oh, please do. I've been waiting for that one.
I think we might wrap it up with China's story about this too.
Okay, so I guess today I had somewhat of, not really an altercation with somebody, but we talked about it. But y'all understand what I was I'm getting into. But I'm gonna start off with this. I'm just gonna let you know right now that people aren't gonna like it. I have to say, the people aren't gonna like it. Friends aren't gonna like it, and maybe some family members. But the only thing I can really say is sorry. When real is real, truth is the truth.
So talking about real shit or talking about rhymes?
Yeah, I just want to talk about like fake ass fans, like in college football, to just be more exact. But it can relate to any school. I'm gonna focus on my school, our school, FSU, but it could be related to any school, like dealing with whatever rival schools or whatever. But I want to talk about the FSU fans first. Just to break it down, I'm trying to break it down at just points, because it's going to be pointless to sit here and try to talk everything. But these are things just that really annoy me, that needs to be heard, because a lot of people say it to themselves and to their friends, but nobody puts anybody on blast. So
I get to it already.
I was about to say, Jesus, long-winded.
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, if you are a fan of another school and you go to FSU, no one really gives a fuck about what you have to say. You are irrelevant. If you dislike FSU, but you go to FSU, just sit your silly ass down. If you grew up in a college town and you go to another town, another school, no one wants to hear how much of a fan you are of the other school. And yes,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm talking to the UF fans. If you're a real fan, you wouldn't be at Miami or FSU. Case closed. Sit your silly ass down. Now to the FSU groupies. Like that one's for the that fake ass FSU fans, but this one's for the FSU groupies. For you fans that have never stepped foot on campus or attended FSU, but are the age of a college student.
Preach.
We love you. We have a lot of love for you, because you rep FSU. But to be honest, when someone comes up to you and says something to you about their score or whatever, and you get in this little, argument or whatever, don't feel free to defend Florida State. Sit your silly ass down. We don't need your help.
Where did this come from?
We need real life scenarios here to put this into perspective.
Talking about FSU, going to FSU, but just repping Florida or anything like that. But on to it, anyways. Miami fans, and I'm sure you guys could probably say a lot more than I can about Miami fans.
We won't even go.
If you have never attended sit your silly ass down. Anything you say sounds fucking retarded. For real fans, how many of you have actually been to a game?
Only 4,000.
As a matter of fact, how many of you have even sat through a whole game?
Didn't they only have like 300 in that game?
Yo, they lowered the price of tickets to $9.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Miami fans, and I'm not going to say UF fans because they're diehard. Other than ones that fucking go to Florida State but then claim UF. I don't fucking understand that shit.
The ones that go to Jacksonville and claim UF just because Tim Tebow's from Jacksonville.
Exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say about your school.
Represent the Jaguars and UNF. That's about it.
Exactly. But I'm just tired of fucking hearing people come up to Tallahassee or wherever I'm at claiming schools that they in love and they just know this and that about the school and how the school is just so hot. They never fucking stepped foot in the school. They never even been to the town that the school's located in. They never even went to a game. They can't even tell you about players past 4 years ago.
China.
Shut the fuck up.
Wait, let me get one thing clear though.
Let me play devil's advocate though. No way. I know everyone's about to say it.
Let me just get one thing clear though. Hold on. This is only for college teams, right? Because they no way in fuck I'm dropping my Dodgers, Lakers, and Raiders for the Magic and Panthers, dog.
Dodgers?
Ain't no way.
Did I not say it's for college?
Thank you. Making sure.
There are I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I lived in New Jersey. But pro sports, that's just a totally different aspect. Pro sports are more so you grow up and you see a whole bunch of different athletes coming from this where. You look at one team, how many players from different colleges are on one team in pro sports? You know what I'm saying? So you look at pro sports and it's there's a different outlook of why people like certain teams.
But I don't know, Doc. I agree with you to a certain extent, but honestly, man, you grew up watching pro sports. There's a lot of people that grew up watching college sports. Whether family members went to the specific school or not, they may have been following the school for a while. So, they know where the players go to play professionally, stuff like that. So they're fans of that individual school. And a lot of the people that do live in college towns, a lot of those college towns don't have pro sports, so they follow college football.
Right. I understand that those people, and I understand that there are very few, exceptions to some people liking liking some teams. You know, obviously, if there's not a college in your area and you like another one, or if there's family members or whatever you like at school, I'm not gonna knock you for that. You know, but
I think he's talking more about the people that are hardcore representatives of a certain college town
and
when
don't about the college town.
yeah, when they don't know shit about it.
So like, you know,
Right.
a Miami-Dade Shark. That's hard for
Hey,
Gators.
Basically.
It just
Or
pisses
even
me off.
I think he even means if you go to TCC and then on Saturdays you got all FSU clothes on. It's like, nah.
Exactly.
Sit
And
your
then
ass
you're-
down and go watch an Eagles
You're
game.
the loudest one going to the FSU game talking about FSU is the shit and Miami sucks or UF sucks, and you go to TCC. Shut the fuck up. Sit your silly ass down. We don't need you. You know, like, come on.
Yeah,
Like,
you are
China.
your
China,
old
let me
age
ask
is
you a
so
question,
much
though.
funnier.
Let me ask you a question though, China. Playing devil's advocate. Don't you root for the Oregon Ducks though?
no. What the fuck are you talking about?
You
I
don't
root
root.
for I like Oregon, but I will not fucking say that I root for them. I like them, but I do not root for them. There will not be a game where I'll be like, oh, I want Oregon to win. No, I'll be like,
Get it
oh,
straight,
they're a good
Luna.
team. They're a good team. I root for Florida State. Why? Because I went there and I graduated, and I will root for West Virginia because I went there and I played. Period.
Okay.
It's a good reason.
Well, I forfeit that statement. And I thought you rooted for the
Oh.
Ducks.
No, I like the team. I like their
Luna
team.
got scared shitless on that one.
No. Oh.
I was about to
Well,
call the cops
China-
on you, man.
China, let me ask you this, because I know you are also a TCC alum yourself. Did you ever attend any Florida State games, or
I attended a Florida State game when I was at TCC when I got tickets for free. I never paid for a ticket to go to a Florida State game. I always got tickets for free, and one of them was actually in the box. So who's not gonna pass that shit up? But you would never see me rep. Oh, I'm a Florida State fan. Blah 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 blah. Before I went to Florida State, I always repped West Virginia. Then I went to Florida State. I liked Florida State. I graduated Florida State, and I rep Florida State and West Virginia. But before I went to Florida State, you never would have heard me say, go FSU. Not once. Not
Cool.
once.
Okay, I was just asking because I knew you were.
No, I'm
yourself
just
were-
saying, that's where it's coming from. I'm not going to, like, I don't fucking half step on shit. Like, if I'm going to say something about something that I dislike, trust me, I didn't do it. So I'm not going to half step on anything.
He keeps it real.
He said 100.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
I'm guessing at that point it's probably a good time to call it. We've been on for like an hour and a half already.
Yeah, it's just long as hell, man.
And we went through a ridiculous amount of topics from Mars to politics, Iran, now China being crazy and old. This is still hilarious though.
Bath salts 101.
Yeah, it was a good time. But
All right, with that being said, thank you so much for listening to the Zombie Attack Force. Damn, we had no zombie advice today.
What happened to those
Cardio.
zombie signs?
what?
What?
Remember the zombie signs that I put up? Zombie apocalypse coming soon.
Oh, actually, I have a zombie thing, but I'll just bring it up in the next one because I don't want to drag this on even longer than it already
Yeah.
is.
Well, with that being said,
we'll start off the next one with the zombie thing.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start off the next podcast with the zombie advice. I actually have a very good strategy that I've been working on that I think it's that people need to know. So I did want to talk about this show, but obviously we ran kind of long. But appreciate you guys tuning in, listening to us on our dual weekly podcast.
Shout out to Pablo for helping us out with this.
Shout out to the political Pablo for coming through and dropping some knowledge on us. On behalf of Vic, Luna, China, Political Pablo, and Berto, this is Zombie Attack Force signing out. Stay alive. Peace.